Today I'm sharing my top 5 crockpot recipes that you have to try. Hey y'all, I'm Sammy and welcome to my kitchen. Now let's get to cooking.
So today we're going to start off by making my teriyaki meatballs. Like I said, these are my top 5 and boy were they hard to pick. So into an 8-quart crock pot that has been sprayed with some non-cooking or non-stick cooking spray, I've got one 32-ounce bag of the home style meatballs. You don't want to use the Italian ones for this. So the entire bag goes in there. Then you're going to take a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, pour that right over the top, and then you're going to take 1 8-ounce can of pineapple juice. Now you could use like crushed pineapples in here too if you wanted that. That would be really good, but we're going to use the juice as well. Then we're going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of garlic right over the top of it. Make sure you can keep the vampires away. And then we're going to add in 1 bottle of the P.F. Chang's teriyaki sauce right over the top of this. I don't know if it was a 12 or a 16-ounce jar, but it's the P.F. Chang's brand. You'll just pour that right over the top, and then we're going to put the lid on our crock pot and cook this on low for about 4 hours. You could honestly do high for about 2 hours as well if you are in a pinch for time. But this is just going to cook until I get home from work. My crock pot does switch over to keep warm, so it was perfectly fine. Now, as you can see right here, they have cooked down nicely. We're just going to go ahead and give them a stir around, make sure everything is, well combined with all the flavors. But don't those just look absolutely delicious? They were so good. Now, I serve this with some steamed rice, and I put it over um, some just plain old white rice. That way you could have that sauce with it. I did put some green onions or some scallions on top of it, but y'all, this was absolutely delicious. Give it a try. Now, let's go into my number 4, which is beef stroganoff in the crock pot. It's got to be the easiest way ever to make beef stroganoff. So, into an 8-quart sprayed crock pot, I've got a 1/2 cup of diced up onions in the bottom. We're going to take about 2 to 3 pounds of the shaved ribeye. You can find it at Walmart, or you could buy your own. You could also use like carne piccata in this as well, would be really good. I got 2 cans of just the regular old button mushrooms going on in there that I have drained. We're going to add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1 to 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, or AKA jarlic. Goes right over the top. We're going to put some caramelized onion butter over the top as well. This is about 1 to 2 teaspoons of the Kinders, and 1 to 2 teaspoons of the buttery garlic and herb goes in there as well. Next up, about 1 to 2 teaspoons of the Badia complete goes in there too. Now you just want to go ahead and give that a stir together just to make sure all those seasonings is all over that steak and that everything is well distributed through there so you can cook it. Now in goes 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and then 1 can of cream of mushroom with the herbs in it. You've got to have those mixed up. You could always put a can of cream of onion in there, or anything that you wanted to put, but I used 2 cans of the cream of mushroom, just one had herbs in it. Then we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of beef broth in the mix. We're going to go ahead and put our lid right on the top of this. Set this on low and cook it for about 6 to 8 hours. That way that steak breaks down, and it is absolutely delicious, y'all. So I'm going to use my little meat chopper here, and just to kind of break that steak, the beef on up a little bit. You could also brown up ground beef in here if you didn't want to use steak, and just let that cook in there too. So now we're going to add in 8 ounces of sour cream, and we're just going to go ahead and stir all of that together until well combined. Now this is absolutely creamy and flavorful and delicious. You could even add some heavy whipping cream if you wanted to, but y'all, this was perfect just the way it is. Now I served mine over some egg noodles along with a side of sweet peas. And of course, I put a little bit of parsley over top of that stroganoff. And let me tell y'all something, this was an absolute belly filling meal that didn't take hardly any time to put together once I got home from work. And that is what I'm all about, y'all. Just call me the queen of crock pot recipes, I guess, because this one was a winner. Next up, we're going to make my number 3, which is chicken bacon ranch tot casserole right in the crock pot. So into an 8-quart sprayed crock pot, I've got a 30-ounce bag of tater rounds or tater tots, whatever you want to use. You'll see here in a minute that I had another bag that I wanted to finish up, so I just poured that right on top. So I've got me 1 layer of the tots right into the bottom of it. Then we're going to add in about a half a cup of the real bacon pieces, and I just kind of put those all over the tater tots. Now you could just dump them on in there if you want to, but y'all know me, I got to make everything just so. Next, we're going to add in a half a cup of cheddar cheese. You could grate your own cheese if you wanted to, but this is what I had on hand. It's just the triple cheddar pre-shredded. And I've got 3 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast that I have chopped up into about bite-sized pieces. We're going to go ahead and put a nice layer over there. You only have the 1 layer of meat in this, so it goes over right now. And now we're going to go ahead and season our chicken, because you've got to season in layers. So we're going to go ahead and put in 1 to 2 teaspoons of the Badia black garlic, and about, honestly, it's probably about 1 teaspoon of each. 1 teaspoon of the Kinder's buttery garlic and herb, 1 teaspoon of the Kinder's caramelized onion butter. Don't worry about it being a lot of seasonings because you need it. Now we're going to start our other layer. So we've got another half a cup of the real bacon pieces. Next, we're going to add in about half a cup of the cheddar cheese again. Right over the top, y'all. Just layers and layers. You just repeat. See, I didn't have enough of the little tater rounds, so it's perfectly okay to mix and match. Use what you got on hand. It's a budget meal, y'all. You gotta, fit what's in your budget. So we just went ahead and used that other bag of the tater tots, and we're gonna put a little bit more bacon on top. And of course, y'all know me, mo cheese, mo better. So we're gonna finish the last of the cheese right over the top of this. And y'all know you gotta add some pepper to it. So about a teaspoon of pepper right over the top before you add in 3/4 cup of milk. And you just drizzle that right over the top, making sure it gets everywhere over that. That's just going to help with the moisture of everything. And the tater tots do crisp up nicely on the top of this. So you go ahead and put your lid on your crock pot and set this on low for about 5 hours. You could do high for about 3. Now, once this is done cooking, you can see that it's a little bit dark on the sides, but it is not burnt. That is just flavor, y'all. I promise you it is not burnt. It actually cooked up perfectly. The tots on top of it were nice and crispy. And you have that first cheese layer. I'm just showing you right there that it is not burnt. That one cheese layer has done melted down over everything. So I decided to go ahead and take another block of the just sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm going to grate it up myself. And I'm just going to put a nice layer over the top of that. That way you have a fresh cheesy pull and the fresh cheesiness when you go ahead and eat this dish. So all this does, once you put that about another half a cup to a cup over the top of it, you'll put the lid back on that crock pot, and that cheese is going to melt down from the heat that's already in that crock pot, and it melts beautifully, as y'all can see right here. It is so, so good. And of course, I've got to show y'all what it looks like when I take it out here, and you can just see that. Oh my goodness, it is so good. I'm really going to have to make this again very soon. And you can top it with some more cheese. And I like to drizzle some ranch right over the top of it and some parsley. You could put more bacon bits on it if you wanted to, but I just did the ranch and the cheese and the parsley. And I'm telling y'all, this is lip smacking good. It is definitely a winner chicken dinner for sure. I had the hardest time trying to decide where I wanted to put these in order for my top 5 because they are all that good. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. You definitely need to give all of these a try. Plus, they're perfect for a busy weeknight. Moving right along, we're going to go ahead and make a pizza pasta casserole. This almost took over for number 1. It was very close, but you'll see why here in a minute. So let's go ahead and make this pizza pasta casserole. And I've got a pound to 2 pounds of ground beef that I went ahead and, just browned up. I dumped in 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 1 8-ounce can of tomato paste. Now you're going to take your favorite marinara sauce. It's 20 to 24 ounces. You'll go ahead and dump all of that into this ground beef mixture. and you'll give it a good stir together. This is going to be your sauce that's going to go over everything else in the crock pot. This is another layering crock pot dish, okay? So into your 8-quart sprayed crock pot, you do need to spray it. We have boiled down about a pound of rotini pasta. I'm going to go ahead and do this in thirds. So 1/3 of your pasta goes in, 1/3 of your sauce goes in, and I like to just kind of put it on there and then I'll spread it around on the noodles. That way I know everything is covered and nothing's going to stick or burn. So once you have that sauce in there and it's nice and covered, you're going to put 1/3 of your pepperonis. Now this takes about a cup to a cup and a half of chopped up pepperonis. I put a nice even layer over the top of that. And then, of course, we're going to come in with some mozzarella cheese. Now, you could use like a cheddar cheese, a Parmesan cheese, any cheese that you prefer. You could even do like an Italian blend if you wanted. But we're going to put a half a cup of cheese or 1/3 of your cheese per the directions. And now we're just repeating those layers until we get to the top here. I really wish it was this fast putting it together. You gotta love the joys of editing and getting to speed up stuff. So once you have your top layer on here with the sauce, we're finishing that up with the last part of the cheese. And I might have added just a little bit extra. Y'all know me. I love me some cheese over here. You just finish that off with the rest of the sliced up pepperonis. And once you have them all over, and it looks like every little spot's covered, because y'all know I've got to put something like that on there because it'll drive me crazy. Pop your lid on your crock pot, turn that on low for about 3 to 4 hours, or you could even do high for about 2 hours. It doesn't take long. I put mine on high for about 2 hours. That way we could have supper ready in a hurry. This cooked down perfectly, because if you think about it, it doesn't have to cook too long. So remember, low for 3 to 4 hours or high for about 2 hours. Now, the cheese pull on this is insane and it is absolutely delicious. Everything is so flavorful and it just makes my mouth water just sitting here talking about it. It's going to become a family favorite. Trust me on this. When you make it, let me know, okay? Because I promise you, everyone in your house is going to absolutely love it. That is almost a guarantee. Now, you can always put any other toppings you want in it too. So, but this is just how we made ours, and I'm so glad we did. Now, my ultimate number one or my top 5 right here are chicken legs and gravy in the crock pot. You cannot go wrong with this. So I have an 8-quart crock pot here that I have sprayed well with some nonstick spray. I added in 1 cup of water. We're going to add to that 1 packet of au jus gravy mix. 1 brown gravy mix packet goes right in there as well. Then we're just going to go ahead and take a whisk and kind of whisk that in together. Now this one is a coated whisk. It's like a silicone coated whisk, because you don't want to use a metal one in there. It will scratch your crock pot. So I'd advise to use a silicone spoon or a silicone coated whisk like I have right here. Once you have that all mixed up, you just go ahead and place your chicken legs in there. Now I'm using a family pack, so I think it had 12 or 15 chicken legs in it. So I just put an even layer in the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and season that up with a little bit of salt and pepper like you see right here, some Kinder's buttery garlic and herb, and the roast chicken by Kinder's. Now, I probably used about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon each of these, but it's seasoned to your heart, okay? Season how you season for your family. I'm also adding in some paprika, and then we're just going to go ahead and continue with the second layer of chicken, kind of right over the top of that. Now, once I have all these chicken legs in there, I just repeated with the same seasonings that I had from the bottom layer. And I'm just finishing up with some paprika right here, as you can see. Then we're going to put the lid on this crock pot and let these cook on low. You don't want to cook them on high, because I don't think it would do as well, but on low for 4 to 6 hours, okay? And if your crock pot cooks differently, you might have to change that. But look at this deliciousness when it is done cooking. That meat has tried to pull itself off the bone. Everything is so good. And all that chicken and that gravy, y'all. Oh my goodness. I paired this with some homemade mashed potatoes. Y'all like how I said that? And some home canned green beans right here that I just season up until my little heart's happy, y'all. That's about all I can say. But this made for a perfect, easy delicious supper, and I'm promising you, it looks like you've been in the kitchen all day slaving when you haven't. So definitely give this one a try, and I hope you understand why this was my number one pick out of my top 5. And I'm sure there will be another top 5 crockpot recipe video coming at you soon. I know y'all love these.
All right, y'all, that is it for today's video. I truly hope you enjoyed it and it gave you some ideas of something that you could put together in your crock pot for your family this week. If you are in need of prayer, please let me know down below and I would be honored to pray for you all. But until next time, from my heart to yours, God bless. Bye.